Hey guys, Greg here, Underground Graphics. Today we're going to go through and show you some upper rail, top rail PPF. We had some customers call and ask what they should do when they take those tops off. They were getting some light scratches up there. I've done this a handful of times as well on ours and noticed that mid panel is really hard to get off, and if you kind of drag that across, you know, it's prone. You could get it. I had some light stuff, not a huge deal, but again, this will give you that extra added layer of protection. We are in our wrap corner. We just finished up and are still working on some interior pieces for the Wimbledon white wrap on the Bronco, something very special. You'll see that a lot more soon. And so our rails are still white. We wanted to hold off until we got this done. Of course, we're gonna go back and protect once we get our wrap on there. We did do a test piece. Obviously, that protection is not gonna be red. If we, take a look at that, that is our template. So now we've got that perfected. We're gonna cut that. We've got it cut. We're gonna do that in Expel PPF and show you how to get that on there. So let's get a step up here. And again, this is just gonna be to show you where that goes. We're going right to that seam. And even when we wrap, we're probably not gonna get over those welds, but just right to it. As I'm down low, you cannot see into this, and as high as these Broncos are, no one's ever gonna see that. We've got right from the back, we're not gonna do that rear panel because we're not worried about those panels sliding. If you are worried about some of the PPF on the back, we do have the extensions, both partial and full for the roll bar, both outer and inner, which is important, especially for the soft top owners, but even with the hard top, as you're pulling that off, you don't want those edges to hit that roll bar. That paint will scratch very easy. So as you can see, we already have these holes pre-cut for all these little holes and these bumps. We actually took this off to get our template, but now that we have our template, we did want to cut that around that. We don't want you to have to take that off, and you don't need to. And again, we have this front spot up here, which again, I didn't even test that to see what that top's gonna hit, but I do already have some kinks and marks in there, so we went ahead and made it. So we got that 2 pieces, obviously both sides are gonna be a 4-piece kit. And yeah, so like I said, we've already tested it. I wanted to show you where that was gonna go, so we'll go ahead and get this pulled off, and we'll go right into applying that PPF. And again, this is just showing you, that's just wrap film. And this is gonna come with a plastic squeegee, which you can use. I don't recommend it, but for small stuff, again, if it's a one-time use, it'll work. It's just gonna be a little harder. We do offer these rubber squeegees. Those are for PPF. It's nice to have. I mean, it's only a few bucks, I think. I'm not sure what those are on the site, but do look at doing this. And this is what you're gonna need for the install. And again, this is stuff you have at home. We just have this already pre-made for you. This is our wet slide mix, which is just soap and water mixture, and this is our alcohol water prep, and again, this is just to prep that surface. So as we get into this, I know we're not going to, I just want to show you, this is what you're going to have for that. So again, since it's PPF, you can use this. Obviously with a little heat, it'll take out any surface scratches, or we can go with that rubber squeegee, which we will be using. And then you are going to want a towel, one to wipe this clean, but also when we get to the edge of that PPF, that's what's gonna allow that soapy water solution to exit the sides of that and kind of get that edge to seal. There's a couple spots in here, right here, a little bit up here at the front, and again back here where there's a little dip in that rail, and it does get kind of tricky. So that's where you just have to have a little bit of patience and work that PPF down. Again, the good thing is this isn't an area that not many are gonna see. So if there are any little imperfections in it, I really wouldn't worry about it. We're just doing this really to protect that paint. I can already see a scratch right there, and I'm pretty sure that is from me taking that mid panel off by myself. That is a very large and fairly heavy panel. So let's go ahead and get this going. Like I said, this is gonna be 2 pieces. We're gonna do that little small piece up there first. And it's very important to make sure your hands are clean. Alcohol is great, just make sure there's nothing on your hands, because you are gonna touch this barely. I'm just using my fingernail to kind of pull this up. And we are gonna install this one. So I like to spray the back side of that, get that wet. Our area that we're gonna put this on. And we have this solution right where we like it. It's not If you put too much soap, it's going to slide too much, and it's kind of hard to get that to tack. Sometimes it's not enough soap and it doesn't slide at all. This is kind of right there in the middle. So if you want it a little more slidability, just add a drop of water in there, or of soap. And again, once that's laid in place, that's exactly where I want that. I have that line up for that little hole there. There's two little kinks in that to show you where that bend is. We're gonna put a little soap solution on that and just moderate force on that. Work that out. And we're going right to, this is the easiest piece. Obviously it's small, it's all flat. You know, it's on white, it's kind of hard to see. I'm sure in that camera you're like, what the heck is going on? But up close, and there's a weird imperfection in the metal here. So again, I'm going to do my best just to work out, and that's why I like that rubber, because I can kind of get a little bit more on there. But again, that's up and out of sight. If you have some parts that are kind of stubborn, come back to it, let that soap solution dry out a little bit. But as you push, like this corner here or any of these corners, as long as I push that out, that's going to pick up that solution that's under there and allow that edge to seal. So that's kind of the trick with that. Now on this larger piece, again, just get it nice and wet. And then we're going to come back. There's that one spot right there. Yeah, that's a scratch. So all right, and again, this is a pretty big piece. So if you have somebody to give you a hand, great. If not, just be careful. You don't want this to touch it, to fold over and stick to itself. And again, make sure your hands are clean. If they're, get them a little bit wet, it's a little bit easier. And I'm going to go about halfway. I'm going to come back, I'm going to spray the back side of this again, just so it doesn't hit itself. Now I can come back over, grab this other half. And you do want to have something to stand on. Like if you notice, we're standing on some little step stools. These are imperative to have if you have a SUV with big wheels on it. So again, try not to touch the adhesive side, because anything on your fingers will pick that up. And once we can get this tacked up here, just kind of laid in place, we're going to start with our driver's side, or our front, I'm sorry, the front of the vehicle. So up here, again, we've got those hole markers and this one here. And this one's going to be, I shortened this here in the middle so we can kind of pull that back piece as we need it to fit. This side is already in a good spot, so we're going to hit that bottom piece. I'm going to go right to those, this bracket here. And again, it's important to keep this really wet, because that's what I know it's going to get inside, but fortunately it's that washout vinyl. Not that it matters, even if it was leather, we're all right. And we're just working that out, and you can see there's a little bit of that dip, and it's so hard to see in that camera, but like there's a little bit of air under there, and that's because we got the metal kind of doing a weird contours. We're just going to let that dry, let that sit right there. The biggest part I'm worried about is making sure we've got all that water right here, and no air bubbles up here on top. And that's that slide area where the impact area. Now we're going to come back down here and hit this back side. You want to step over that other one? There you go. And again, if we need to pull this up again, it's already tacked just a little bit. And you really don't want to do a lot of pull up, pull down, pull up, pull down. But you can see there, now these holes are a little further back. And we're just going to give that a little tug to get that lined up. make sure all these are lined up. And I'm good with that. Do this a little bit more. Try to keep that as smooth as possible. And I could have done a little bit more soap in there, but it's not bad. All right, now I've got that flat. I'm gonna come back from that same part back here. And you can almost hear that. There's a little pop in there. We're gonna go all the way down. And it almost goes to behind this weather stripping. We're not, like I said, we didn't go over that, the hardtop section. And then it's coming back over that bend. And again, that's where that rubber is gonna be a nice piece. You can see that kind of flex over that. And then we're gonna work that top. And this is, again, this is that area where it's got that dip in it. So it does have a little bit of working that out a little bit. And this is all the flattest parts, so I'm kind of working that first. Now we're all good back there. Now we're going to work this front area. And again, I'm going to go for this flat area in the back. And I've got that same little weird kink there, but if you work that water out, and then come back and really just kind of put that over the edge of the squeegee. Now that is good there. That side on that side, it's down. And that was that piece up there in the front, and use that same method. So again, as you're squeegeeing over that, you're just picking up that moisture or that soap solution that's still left under there, that's not letting that stick. All right, now this is that last spot that's a little tricky. And it just takes a little bit of patience. Keep that wet, and you can kind of use your fingers to make sure that goes flat. I think we're good on there. It's almost the lighting and all so much water on there. There we go. Yeah, we're good. So then it's going back, just dry it off. And that's it. Now you can, rest assured, if you do drag that top on there, you're gonna have a little bit of insurance with that. Hopefully it catches that PPF and not your paint. So now we go back, reverse order, getting your roof and top back on. Sorry I didn't go into that to show you how to take those off. I'm assuming by now, hopefully you have. If not, be sure just to look at a YouTube video on that. Not sure who's got the best ones, but there is plenty of them on there. Thanks guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, just give us a call and let us know what you want next as far as PPF goes or anything for your Bronco. See you next time.